Hi everyone, welcome back to this two-part series on how to get the absolute perfect finish on your solid wood worktops and ensure that they look lovely and last for years and years to come, or as our mission goes, that they last for generations to come. In the first part of this series, we have covered the groundwork, the surface preparation, the dirty work, aka, very simply put, we have sanded the surface and prepared our worktop for oiling. And now in this second video, we will be finally getting on with the oiling, guys. We'll be using Osmo top oil, which should give our worktop a very nice protective layer, and it should end up looking absolutely amazing. If you have been following our videos, guys, and more specifically our first video on sanding, your worktop should now be perfectly sanded and consistent at 120 grit, waiting for the oil to be applied. If you haven't already done that, please go back, rewatch the video on the sanding, because fundamentally oiling without proper sanding will only give you average results at best. So please go back, rewatch this, come back here, or if you have already done that, let's get on with it. I want to shout out my first disclaimer. We in House of Worktops have over 12 different variations of wood worktops. We have your 6 to 7 variations of oak worktops, you have your African Simba, then you have your beech, walnut, ash, sapele, you name it, we most likely have it. And each wood variation has 10 to 20 different sizes, and the price range is starting from £100 all the way to £1,500 per worktop. And the number one most important factor that will determine how happy you are with your surface, doesn't matter how expensive or cheap it is, it will be the oiling of the worktop. So please, guys, get a pen and paper, make some notes. I promise you, if you follow those steps, you will enjoy this process, and at the end you will be very proud of the work that you have done and how you've transformed your kitchen or your home. Okay guys, all you need right now is your roller and your Osmo top oil. Before you get on with it, please make sure you shake the tin firmly, just to make sure all of the ingredients are properly mixed up. You open the tin and really just spill some Osmo, start wherever. But before we actually get on with it, let me just re-emphasize that you want to apply the oil as thinly as possible, and be careful with the roller, because the roller after some point is able to, get very drenched up, and it's able to store a lot of oil inside. So you might really end up just layering up a lot of oil on top of the worktop. Just make sure you control the oil, apply some pressure to get the most out of it at all times. Okay, let's get on with it, guys. Just spill some Osmo and start wherever. You can, initially, you can go along the grain, across the grain, it doesn't matter. But once we're done, we'll always finish up with strokes along the grain, okay? Okay. Three coats of oil, as thinly as possible, is all you need. A small little tip here: if you have used a little too much oil in certain areas and you feel like your roller frame is very much drenched up at this point, in order to avoid really layering up thick coats of oil, what you can do, you can actually switch to an untreated area of a worktop. Let's say you have two worktops, right? One here and one here, which you haven't even started at all. So take your roller, as it is currently drenched up and you have a lot of oil here, just go to the next one and start oiling the dry worktop right now, yeah? Just to make sure you have used the oil inside the roller. Once this is done and you feel like your roller is now dry, not dry but semi-dry, you come back to this one and again you start rolling to make sure you are you are taking back the excess oil from the surface. So you can always just rotate from one worktop to the other one and controlling the amount of oil you're applying on the surface. That's the main goal, to spread thinly and consistently as well throughout all of your worktops. Okay. Once you have covered the entire surface, guys, and you're happy with the way it looks right now, and you've covered the edges as well, what you can do right now is just use a source of light at the background in order to check your surface. You'll be easily able to see any pooling, any areas you have applied too much oil, or any areas that are still dry. So please use a source of light. Just go down a little bit and you will be able to see how consistently you have oiled the worktop, and if there are any areas which are slightly thicker or or they need some more oiling. And please remember that you can always keep rolling. The more you roll, the more consistently you're spreading the oil. Okay, now that we're done, guys, and we're happy with the result, we will now just do one last stroke with along the grain in order to make sure that the direction of the oiling is the same with the direction of the grain for aesthetic purposes, for the way the worktop will look. So what we're going to be doing is take the roller, applying very, very light pressure just along the grain, right? You start from here, just go down, and the same way like this. So we want to make sure we cover the entire surface. Yeah, that's what we do. Obviously our worktop, what we have currently right now, is much smaller and much easier. When you have a longer stretch of a worktop, it will be much harder, but trust me, this is very important, and this will make sure that not only the worktop is very well protected, but also it looks great. Okay. Okay, guys, we are done. That is our first coat of oil completed, and in fact, this is the most important coat of oil. We have completed it. Now we have to wait for 24 hours for this to dry completely. Then we're gonna apply our second coat of oil tomorrow and the third coat of oil the day after, and we are done with our protective layers. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow.